there, guys. Welcome back to the Deck Box. And this episode of Deck Tech, we're going to be just doing a quick little update on Jeff's zombie deck. We had a comment just yesterday now. Well, it's actually today, but you know you're getting this tomorrow. Asking for a update of your zombie deck. So, welcome back, Jeff.
Good to be here.
And let's take a look at the changes that you made, which I thought were a lot more, but turns out it was just a couple cards.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all that you need to do to make something fundamental happen.
Absolutely.
And it's just a very slight tweak because everything else about the deck is still more or less working the way it should. The only, the big change was that I took the mass removal out, threw it in the sideboard,
right? Okay.
And just upped the creature count a little bit to a total of 25.
So, talking about those creatures, let's take a look at which creatures they were that changed. So let's come down here, take a look. We've got the first.
This is basically what Dark Ascension does to this build, and that is really 9 cards, all creatures.
Yeah.
Because that tends to be what matters most in this type of build.
So let's talk about these creatures. We've got the quintessential, amazing card, Gravecrawler. Does some really, really horrific things for this deck.
It's taken the place of Diregraf ghouls.
Yeah.
Under most circumstances, save against a really heavy sort of aggro matchup like werewolves or vampires or something like that, not being able to block kind of inferior to the Diregraf ghoul. However, being able to do the sorts of things that the deck is able to do now with self-resurrecting Gravecrawlers, it's very impactful, and I think all in all, the upside outweighs the downside on that.
Right. So let's talk specifically. What are those things that Gravecrawler is able to do? So first off, well, actually, I shouldn't say first off because this is something that comes late in the game. But I mean, here's a little combo right here, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
We've got the grin Corpseborn, which yes, we'll get to that real soon on Spell Spotlight, guys. I know we really want to get to that. This Monday we'll be talking about Grin, but specifically, let's talk about him here. We've got grin Corpseborn, and how does that interact with Gravecrawler, Jeff?
Well, he eats it.
He eats it.
He eats it, and because he's a zombie, I just replay it.
And then what happens then?
Then hopefully I have a Diregraf Captain in play.
The combo gets a little bigger.
Or maybe even 2, and I don't even have to attack anymore. I just Grin eats, and my opponent dies.
Yes, as if you weren't going to attack with Grin. So here we go with a little mini combo. I know there's lots of talk about going infinite with that sort of thing with Rooftop Storm. It's never going to happen. But if you get it done in FNM, please let us know because that's freaking awesome.
I would love to see that.
Take a video, show us. But yeah, so and then the other change here. Well, we've already sort of touched on the Diregraf Captain, but that's some good value, right?
Yeah, the Diregraf Captain serves 2 functions, and that is it already has the sort of combo value with Grin that we've seen, but more importantly, I think is that it's like having 3 more Cemetery Reapers.
Yeah, little less effective in some ways, but at the same time,
the Cemetery Reaper ability though isn't quite as fundamental to the deck. That's why I preserved the playset of Cemetery Reapers. But what the Diregraf ghouls do have is that in and of themselves, if I don't really have anything else, he does have Death Touch, and that does tend to matter a lot. And the way that he interacts with, say, the Messenger, for example, if the Messenger dies for some reason, I'm basically taking 3 life away from my opponent, and
just for him entering again.
Just for him re-entering off the Undying.
Okay, and now you're touching on the last creature we haven't spoken of yet, and that is Geralt's Messenger. Running 2 of, what's your thoughts there, instead of running, more of him or less of him? Or what?
Well, I'm really sort of experimenting with this particular creature count, and at first when I saw the Messenger previewed, I wasn't 100% crazy about it. I just went, oh well, 3 black mana, and yeah, he hasn't dying. That's pretty cool. 3/2 body, that's okay. Like in a tribal ramp up, that would be really good. But he comes into play tapped, and that
hurts. Yeah,
that is a little bit of a downside.
It hurts them right away. So it almost makes up for it, right?
It does almost make up for it. And if, for example, I feed him to Grin, that's 4 life in 1 turn. If I fed him to Grin, if I've drawn him late in that. circumstance.
It's a nice little play for sure.
Yeah, so I like experimenting with him. I don't really see myself running more than 2. However,
Right.
if this deck does sort of morph into a block constructed incarnation,
You might need to lean
then
on it a little
I
heavily.
might actually use a playset.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. This was looking at his deck again. I hope you learned something, maybe about your own zombie decks if you have them. Thanks again, Jeff, for being in the videos again. And thanks, guys, for watching. As always, roll for choice, people.